Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village, there lived a humble laborer who made a living by digging up soil. Every day he would wake up early, quietly head to the fields, dig the earth, scoop it into sacks, and load them onto the back of his old donkey. Then he would take the soil to the market to sell and earn just enough to get by. His life was simple, with little to ask for. One day, while digging as usual, he suddenly discovered a sparkling stone buried deep in the muddy soil. The stone was so bright that he had to rub his eyes and look again. But not knowing its true value, he simply thought it was a pretty rock. Amused, he tied it around his donkey's neck as a decorative trinket. And so he wandered through the village with his donkey, the precious gem dangling in plain sight, completely unaware that he was carrying a priceless treasure. Villagers noticed the shiny object and grew curious, but none suspected it was worth anything. Life continued on as usual until one day someone truly noticed the stone. One afternoon, while the laborer was passing through the market, a wealthy merchant, the owner of the local grocery store, caught sight of the glittering stone tied to the donkey's neck. Attracted by its radiant glow, he stopped the laborer and asked, "Hey there, what is that shiny stone on your donkey?" The laborer smiled kindly and replied, "Oh, it's just a rock I found while digging. I thought it looked nice, so I tied it up for fun." The merchant examined the stone, nodding thoughtfully. He didn't know what it was either, but he found it beautiful and unique, so he offered to buy it. The laborer, without hesitation, gladly sold it for 50 rupees, a considerable sum for him at the time. The merchant took the stone home and hung it on the weighing scale in his store as a decoration. Every customer who visited admired the stone's strange, captivating beauty. It quickly became the highlight of his shop. Everyone paused to gaze at it before leaving. Then one day, a jeweler happened to visit the shop to buy some goods. When his eyes fell upon the scale, his heart skipped a beat. He instantly recognized it wasn't just a pretty rock, but a priceless diamond. The jeweler stared at the stone hanging on the scale. He stepped closer, picked it up, and examined it intently. His eyes lit up with astonishment and greed. Without a doubt, it was a rare diamond, one valuable enough to buy the entire store and more. He turned to the merchant and asked, "Where did you get this stone?" The merchant replied casually, "I bought it from a village laborer. He found it while digging. I thought it looked nice, so I paid 50 rupees and hung it here." The jeweler quickly made an offer. "If you're willing to sell, I'll give you 80 rupees for it." The merchant raised an eyebrow and calmly smiled. "No, if you want it, the price is 100 rupees. I'm not in a hurry to sell." The jeweler frowned, calculating his move, then said, "I'll think about it. Maybe tomorrow you'll reconsider." And with that, he left, confident the merchant would settle for less if no one else showed interest. But fate had other plans. That very evening, another jeweler, a stranger from afar, passed through the village. His car broke down, so he stopped by the grocery store while waiting for help. As he stepped inside, his eyes were immediately drawn to the glowing stone on the scale. With just one glance, he knew it was a real diamond. Without bargaining, he said, "I'll buy this stone for 100 rupees." The merchant agreed at once. The deal was done swiftly, without hesitation. The next morning, the first jeweler returned, ready to strike a better deal and claim the gem. But when he asked about it, he froze as the merchant said, "Sorry, someone else came last night and bought it for 100 rupees. The jeweler's face turned pale. He yelled in frustration, "You fool! That wasn't just a shiny rock. It was a priceless diamond, and you sold it for only 100 rupees? The merchant gave a light chuckle and calmly replied, "Sir, you knew it was a diamond. I didn't. Yet you hesitated over 20 rupees. So if there's a fool in this story, it isn't me." The jeweler stood speechless. The opportunity had been right in front of him, clear and dazzling as the stone itself, but he let it slip away over a small calculation. The story of the priceless diamond doesn't end with the jeweler's regret. It leaves us with deep and lasting life lessons about opportunity, value, and the way we make choices. Lesson 1. Don't be stingy in the wrong places. Being frugal is wise, but blind stinginess can cost you dearly. The jeweler, who knew the diamond's worth better than anyone, lost it because he was unwilling to spend just 20 more rupees. In life, sometimes you must be willing to invest or pay the right price to gain.